So, I've got an idea of a book in my head,
Uh-huh.
but I haven't got the foggiest idea how to get that anywhere other than in my head.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. People think that you can just start writing a book straight away. From that point on, the first thing you've got to answer is the question, what's the book going to do for the reader?
Mm-hmm.
So you work out what solution that book's going to offer, or what pain that book's going to help with. Once you've got that, you work out some steps that you can help people through, and that'll be your sort of bigger area of things. So it could be, if it was a book on marketing, it could be finding customers, how to actually keep customers, and how to build referrals. They could be your 3 areas. And within that, then you can obviously chunk down into some detail. So if you had 3 main areas and 7 sub-areas, you're starting to map out a hierarchy for your book of sections and chapters. What I've found is once you've actually worked hard on these titles, you then have the question asked and posed to yourself, and you'll write much more easily, and then you just fill in the gaps. A typical book these days, you could get a good self-help book of about 28,000 words. So if say you had a book where there were 3 sections, you could work that out into chunks. I can't do the maths. But it's not actually a big job. You may find each small chunk is only 500 to 600 words, and that makes the writing bite-sized. So if you've got to work up to a 30,000 word count, you could actually do it in a month if you set yourself a target to write every day.
And so start with the end in mind, and then
work back. You've got to have a picture. I think most people, it's like going on holiday. If you don't know where you're going, you could get there, but you don't know what vehicle you're going to use or which way you're going to go next. Whereas if you've got a map, it sort of takes care of itself. And so I've always found the first thing, and where people get stuck, is they start writing really good stuff, but they haven't actually got the overriding structure, and they haven't even thought about what the solution or the questions they're answering for their audience are. And they end up with a book. I see a lot of people will write loads of stuff about their business and their history and their story, but because it hasn't got any intention to answer any questions, most of it gets thrown out. And so it's good actually to read a lot as well. You'll see what people do wrong and what people do well, and that'll give you a good model. And I know you've been reading a lot of Dan Kennedy books recently, and I think he's a really good model for business owners as far as structuring a book.
Yes, because there's a lot of value in there, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
You get a lot of value from the book, but there's still a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But you've still got something. It's not you want to get a certain amount from a book, don't you?
Yeah, and if you look at his table of contents, every single chapter and section is basically the best headline you've ever heard. You want to read the book, and if you think further along, if you're going to turn your book into a marketing tool, if your book is already written as a series of really good articles with a really strong headline, you can pop bits of the book out and gain traffic and interest really quickly. So that's a secret. I think his books are a really good model. I also think Richard Wiseman's book, Luck Factor, is a really good model of a structured book. If you look at each chapter, they all follow the same formula. I haven't really got anything else to say, but if you've got any questions.
Marvellous.
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah.